Okay, so I saw this on Twitter. It says which Pink album is clearing. So if I have to pick one that I think is the absolute best, I'm definitely gonna give it to mileycyrus Plastic Hearts. My favorite song on the album is Hate Me. That is just a great vocal performance. And then the title track is super interesting to listen to. What the Fuck Do I Know was a great opener. Night Crawling with Billy Idol had a lot of energy that I liked with it. And then you even have stuff like Prisoner with Dua Lipa. So there's a lot to like on it. The only song I don't go up for is Bad Karma with Joan Jett. It's not really a favorite. It's not a horrible song, but that'd be my only skip. But yeah, I think Miley did really great in the rock genre. I think that this is their best album, and I would say it's easily the best. If I have to mention a couple more that I really liked off of this, definitely Taylor Swift's Lover album. It's definitely bloated. We could take off a few songs. I think He Knows Me. We can agree on that. But there was a lot I like about this album. This Americana and The Heartbreak Prince is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs of all time. I definitely think it's a top 10 Taylor song because it's about like high school, but you could also have it be about politics. So it's just really great. The songwriting and just, yeah, and I love the production on there. I think it's a super cool song, very unique in the discography. And I also really enjoyed stuff like Cruel Summer. I mean, it's a smash hit. We know what we love it, and so I'm glad that it eventually got to number one because it deserved it. Lover the song is absolutely gorgeous, one of her best title tracks. And then I also really quite enjoyed The Archer. That's definitely one of her best track fives. She's even saying, all of my enemies started out friends, help me hold on to you. I've been the archer, I've been the prey. Who could ever leave me, darling, but who could stay? So yeah, there's a lot to think about in that song. I feel like it's very introspective and honest, and that's why I really enjoyed that piece of the album. Afterglow, it's nice to have a friend. I said this before in one of my Twitter spaces, but she said it's nice to have a friend, and you know what it is. I'm sorry, I'll do too much on that song. It's a nice palate cleanser. So I really did enjoy this album. Next up, Paramore's After Laughter album is so good, and I really like the juxtaposition between the upbeat instrumentation and the lyrics and just about life, especially on songs like 26, Fake Happy, for example. Some of my favorite songs, Hard Times. This is such a great opener. Pool is absolutely incredible. Grudges, Idol Worship. Yeah, this album is super solid. Very good summer album, and yeah, they definitely all did exactly what they needed to do. So 10s across the board for me. To round out my top 5 or top 6, I really liked Rihanna's Loud album, especially with stuff like Only Girl in the World. I mean, that's a smash hit. You know, it can't get tired to listen to, but it's objectively a really good song. Cheers, Drink to That, for example. California King Bed. So it's a good pop album for the time. Mariah's Glitter album is something that grew me. I didn't really care for it at first, but now I really like it with stuff like Loverboy with the cameo sample. It's fun. Lead the Way is a gorgeous moment. Never Too Far is my favorite song on the album, and what an incredible vocal performance that was. I love her rendition of Didn't Mean to Turn You On as well. So she was definitely ahead of her time with the album, and the film was not as bad as a lot of people say that it is, honestly. Then I really liked Lady Gaga's Chromatica album too, especially with stuff like Randomly with Ariana Grande. That was just like the kind of song I would expect them to do together, and I feel like they really nailed it. Enigma was great, and then Sour Candy with Blackpink was a really nice moment on the album as well. 1,000 Doves, Free Woman is probably my favorite song on the album. Babylon, like there was a lot that I really enjoyed, and definitely one of my favorite albums of that year. For an honorable mention, I'll give it to Ariana Grande, Thank You Next. It's not one of my favorite albums by her, but it is a good album. Imagine is one of my favorite Ariana songs. It is a beautiful opener, and I love everything on there. And NASA, I feel like people do too much on it, but it's always been one of my favorites. Bloodline is super catchy on this album, in my head, especially with that bridge. Break Up With Your Girlfriend on Board definitely should have been a number 1 as well. I think there's some stuff that's overplayed, like a Seven Rings and Thank You Next, but it's good. It's good. So I'll give that an honorable mention. So yeah, to recap, Miley's is the best out of all these, and I just gave you guys basically like my top 5 or top 6. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you agree with my picks? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to know like your top 3 or your top 5 and your favorite songs on each album, and let's continue that conversation.